Hello and welcome back to the lab. Today on the bench we have a bit more Heathkit stuff. A Heathkit impedance bridge model IB-312B. This is a unit that comes to me from my father's lab, so we're going to get this up and kicking for him. And has a lot of his equipment. It is suffering from age and disuse. So as there was other life priorities, this stuff sat around for a while, and he needs it up and running again, but it's kind of not cooperating. So this is about the third or fourth piece of equipment we've had to do for that one. So let's get the covers off and get into this thing. I've been asked to do a capacitor refresh on it and then do some additional troubleshooting and see what else is going wrong and needs addressed. So let's get into it. And one of the things that's weird on this is I have been told there's tubes in here. Okay, I think to get into this thing, the screws in the front, or the flathead screws come out, and then either the back's going to pop off or the front's going to come out. I hope the front comes out, because that'll make this a bit easier. We do have all the documentation that would be needed. As this is a single unit, my dad having bought this as a kit and assembling it, he has all the documentation still, so I currently have the build manuals and everything like that, so we should not have a issue. 2 screws on the back. Should not have a difficulty troubleshooting this. We are going to service up switches and everything like that while we've got it, because they probably haven't been turned in 30 plus years. So definitely going to get some lube where it needs to go, contact cleaner where it needs to go, and get this all serviced up. Okay, so the back comes apart. We'll pop this off. The alligator clips that come into the test posts. With this being an impedance bridge, short is the name of the game. And there are tubes. Look at that. All right. Cord's in good shape. Actually, it's very, very clean inside. Not much to talk about there. No rust. Everything looks good. And if we flip this around, oh boy, there's wire there. Okay, so we have, wow, these contacts are horrible. Okay, with tubes, I was kind of hoping PCB in tubes, but we have point-to-point in tubes, which isn't necessarily a problem. Get a bit more light in here, and I'll zoom in on this switch pack. You guys can see what I'm talking about. All this black is all tarnish and corrosion, so I'm going to have to service up all switch packs. Want to be really, really careful of this capacitor. This is going to be a polystyrene cap that's going to is very thermally sensitive, so we want to be careful with that. Not really much to talk about tube-wise. Definitely have corrosion on this switch pack as well. So we're definitely doing a switch service on here. Let's see what the bottom looks like. Okay. Actually, not bad. That cap will be able to stay. We'll want to replace this cap and this one. Definitely clean up the contacts on these switches. All of them are toast. So liberal amounts of contact cleaner is what's going to come into play. All in all, not bad in terms of work we got to do. Quick look on this. The fuse is probably fine. We'll take a look. We'll just double check that, but diodes might be leaky. We'll buzz those out real fast. I'm assuming this is some form of bridge rectifier here. I got another rectifier here right into a capacitor, so this is probably going to be half-wave rectification. I've got at least 3 diodes there. This could be, this might be dual half-wave. This ceramic cap's going to be fine. Don't see any heat damage on the resistors. There's not a lot of time on this unit, I'm 100% sure. But yeah, I think replace those two caps, check the diodes for leakage, and clean the switches, and this thing might come back. Okay, so we have our first frozen control. This is the wheel that sits here. We have an inner ring, then we have an outer control. These would be the decimal places, so 0, 1, and then you would pick 0.0, so that would be like 1 ohm right there, and then it would click to 2, click to 3. The outer control is completely frozen, and we need to lubricate this. The outer control is going to engage the resistors, where the inner control is going to engage this potentiometer. So the pot's moving just fine, but this outer control is just completely frozen up, and I got to get in there and get that up and going. I should also note that that is not an electrical problem. This is strictly a mechanical. There we go. Much better. Okay, that freed up quite a bit. Got some nice lubricant on there and got that freed up. Let's get let's see if we can get the control put back in and see if it'll turn. See if this will operate the shaft, and then we can just finish freeing up the control now that it's moving without too much force. Well, we have plastic that has suffered the ravages of time. Right here, this control is split, which is why the outer ones place, tens place, or the most significant digit shaft is blown out. So now I got to figure out how to fix this thing. We've got the capacitors replaced. I was surprised to find a double section cap there. We had a double section 20, which that is definitely bad. I'm assuming the other electrolytic was bad too. So it's time to take on some of these controls and get some of this stuff on there. And then I got to move the control back and forth by a bunch. And what we should see, maybe, well, I'll bring you guys back after I jiggle these back and forth a bit. Okay, this big bulk section, multi-section cap is testing well enough where I can actually do a test power up, see if we have a unit that's kind of sane, and what we can do to possibly do some measurements just to kind of check functionality, see if it's going to work. So we'll go ahead and turn it on, and we will watch the current. It should peak and then fall off. 3 watts, and we're down to 1.9, so I think we're going to have some tubes heating up here shortly. All right. No excitement, so that's good. Let's check the front and see how it's working. Oh, our meter deflects. So that's healthy. Okay. Oh, wait, there we go. Okay. All right, so we can zero the meter, so that's good. Let's see if we put a resistor on there if we don't get a reading. Okay, so we built up a bit of JB weld around the collar. The collar was actually split in half, so we super glued the collar together and then built up the JB weld. Took the grinding pen, made an absolute mess of it, but shaped the dried weld so it won't interfere with the internal hole diameter. I used some absolutely ultra strength JB weld that was designed and said it was for structural plastic. So now we're not rubbing over here anymore, because as the split happened, the control kind of pressed up against the case. So we're off the case like we're supposed to be, and everything is looking a lot better here. Let's get the screw tightened down and see if it'll actuate the switch without breaking. All right, if that mechanism turns, we are in good shape. There we go. All right, so we have a control back. Excellent. Next step is a little bit of oil in here, and then positioning this control knob on top. Putting a little bit of lubrication in here. We'll just let the knob slide easier. We'll clean this up, get all the grinding dust off of it. And then might be time to check this out, see if it works. All right, I am ready to test this unit. Let's see if it works and how accurate it is. We may have some noise figures, a couple of other things, and I have it set up to test a resistor. This is a resistor that came with it. It's a 550 ohm 0.5% resistor. So I imagine this is the calibration resistor that was sent with this. We're on shunt resistance, 100 ohm range. And let's just see how it goes. My goal would be to balance the DC current meter, so we'll give it 5, and that got us pretty close. Now we'll take the DC and shunt it across the meter to get some more accuracy, and we're off, so we'll bring up the low digit to, that is just about dead center to my eye, and we are surprisingly good. Mind the parallax and a few other things, but if I look at it straight on, we're at 5.5 times 100, so 550 ohms. So this thing is even measuring quite well. All right, this has been burning on the bench for a while, and finished checking it in. The calibration is set on the precision resistor, so this is the calibration resistor after referencing the service manual, and everything is good to go. It's reading 5.5. on the 100 ohm scale, which it should. So this impedance bridge is back to life and ready to go back to its owner. Thanks for stopping by the lab. If you like what you see, give me a big thumbs up, share the videos, and hit the subscribe button. Hang around. A big thank you to the patrons who help keep the lights on here in the lab and videos coming to YouTube. And if you'd like some additional content, check us out over there. With that, as always, more's on the way, and I will see everybody in the next video.